Today, I will be comparing the WayB Pico car seat and the Cosco Scenera Next car seat. They are two of the most popular travel car seats. So we'll take a look and you can decide which one is the right one for you. Here are the two car seats. This is the Cosco Scenera Next, and that is the WayB Pico car seat. First things first, the price. This one is about $50 to $60. That one is $380. If you are interested in purchasing the WayB Pico, hang on to the end of the video. I do have a trick to help you save a lot of money on that car seat. The reason both of these car seats are very popular among folks traveling with their kids is that they're very light. This one is about 7 pounds. That one is about 8 pounds. The WayB Pico also folds up. The WayB Pico is a lot more compact than the Cosco Scenera Next. What I will say though is that you can make it work with the Cosco Scenera Next. I have a couple tricks. I have traveled solo with my kid many times with the Cosco Scenera. So I've learned to make this one work. The best thing I can recommend is actually to get a short bungee cord, and that will serve you in a lot of ways. So what I do is I actually loop the bungee cord right through, and then I stick this top part in the under storage of the car seat, and then I can use the bungee cord to keep it assembled. Another way the bungee cord works is I have actually strapped it to my carry-on suitcase, and I've even put it on top of the stroller so that, you know, it kind of adds as another seat. Here's the WayB Pico without the backpack, and as you can see, it's a little bit smaller and easier to carry, but I think the real winner is actually putting this in a backpack and throwing it on your back. Something that I really like about the WayB Pico is that all the different kind of cords and attachments and stuff have storage spots. And with the Cosco Scenera, usually all the stuff is flying around. Whereas with the WayB Pico, you know, things aren't dangling. Because these are both travel car seats, one of the important considerations is how easy it is to install. So in the car, we have only used the Cosco Scenera as a rear-facing car seat, and we've only used it with the seat belt. I would say it's simple, but it's not easy, because to get it installed well, so it doesn't have too much wiggle in it, you have to do this sort of like push. You push the car seat and you pull the seat belt, push the car seat, pull, and so you have to do that a lot. And so sometimes that can take a while. Sometimes it's just like not in the right spot and you have to kind of redo it. If you are going to use this and you're going to be traveling, especially in Ubers and stuff, I would recommend doing a little practice. And I also want you to feel comfortable taking a little extra time. One of the concerns I had when I first started traveling with her and knew I would have to install the car seat, I was worried about how long it would take because I was worried about inconveniencing the driver. And at the end of the day, I had to come to terms with the fact that my first responsibility is to keeping my kids safe, not to the convenience of the Uber or Lyft driver. So do what you do, take your time. I always leave a big tip. In any great driver will also want your kid to be safe in that car. When it comes to installing the WayB Pico, first of all, you actually have to like set it up. So on the back, the seat has folded up on the back and there's a little elastic here that you pull and you release the seat and then you flip it to the front. And as I'm doing that, you see this little red piece, that's going to clip in place to that bar. And now the car seat is set up and ready to go. And I would recommend sizing your kid with the headrest in the right spot before you take it up. So to install the WayB Pico, there is a seatbelt version to it, and there's also a latch system version to it. So the seatbelt it threads through. There's two little red kind of handles here. You're actually going to thread the lap part of the seat belt. So it has both the shoulder belt and the lap belt. So this bottom part is the part that goes through this, which is, I think, a little counterintuitive. Obviously, you should look at your manual. That's going to give you the best information. When you install it with the seat belt and you're using, the lap belt going through these little red pieces, you still have to do that little bit of push and pull on the seat belt, push and pull. But I just feel like you only have to do it a couple times, whereas this one, I've done it a bunch, and sometimes I've had to unclip it and redo it. So I will say, I think this one is easier to install. Even with the latches are really easy. I think they click well on this, and they actually click out well. So you just push this down and you click it in there. And what's cool is it had little storage. So you pull out this little piece and it, listen, clicks right back on. So I will say this is easier to install, from my perspective, easier to install than the Cosco Scenera Next. Let's talk safety. All car seats that are on the market have to pass the same safety testing and pass those standards. So both car seats have done that. So you could consider them both safe car seats. One thing to consider, however, is that the general recommendation is to rear face kids as long as possible, basically until they exceed the height or weight maximums of the rear facing car seats. So as long as possible usually means like 3, 4, some kids even 5, depending on their size. So with the Cosco Scenera Next, it can rear face up to, I believe, 40 pounds and 40 inches. Don't quote me on that, look it up. But I know that my daughter can rear face in this much longer than, past her second birthday. With the Pico, you are putting a 2-year-old in the forward facing position. So yes, this has hit the safety standards, but it's a best practice to try to rear face as long as you can. And this doesn't allow you to do that. For that reason, I only use the WayB Pico for traveling, and I like to have it on hand for emergencies. Let's talk about installing these car seats on a plane. I've installed this one on a plane, both rear facing and forward facing. So with the rear facing installation, you can take off this piece at the top, and you can see here, there's a path for the seatbelt. So just like you would in the car, you put the seatbelt through and you kind of do the push and tighten like that. It's not difficult. However, if you choose to install your car seat in the rear facing orientation, you're going to block the person in front of you from being able to recline their seat. I'm not going to share opinions on it. People have very strong opinions about that. I will just tell you that is what will happen, and you can make your own judgment on whether or not you want to do that. People who choose to have their kid in rear facing orientation on a plane usually do it for one of 3 reasons. The first is that it's more reclined, so baby can sleep better. The second is that it is considered safer because if the plane were to stop short, it's better for their spine. The third is that it prevents them from kicking the seat behind or in front of them. So that can be helpful. I did do rear facing once on a plane. She still was able to push her feet against the seat behind, so it was still pushing into the seat in front. So something to consider if your kid is like mine, then be prepared. After trying both a rear facing and a forward facing orientation, I ended up landing on keeping her forward facing. The installation is the same pretty much as the rear facing. So with rear facing, you're putting the seatbelt through here. With forward facing, you're putting it through here, and you're doing that same kind of push down pull piece of it. However, when you do that on a plane, the buckle ends up being right here behind baby's back. So that can be really uncomfortable. You have a couple options there. Some people have said that they kind of put extra blankets behind it, so then it lifts it up so it's soft, and then you have a place to store your jackets, which I've done. The other one is that I've been told that a seatbelt extender works. I haven't done that, so I can't say from experience if that's helpful. I've sometimes just left it a little loose so that it's on the side, or I've twisted the insert part. So kind of twist it until it's really short so that the other clip kind of still stays behind. So you have a few options there. Speaking of forward facing, this brings me to another key benefit of the WayB Pico is that you can take a look right here. The WayB Pico is much closer to just, a regular seat in terms of size. And so in this forward facing orientation, the seat is so lifted and forward that number one, I can't put the tray table down, so my daughter can't use it to, draw or whatever she's doing. And she can easily kick the seat in front of her. So I'm spending a lot of time keeping her legs down. Whereas with the WayB Pico, as you can see, it's a little further back and it's lower down. So I can still put the tray table down, and it's just harder for her to reach and kick the seat in front of her. So the WayB Pico is definitely more convenient with the forward facing. I will say though, a lot of people have reported that their kid doesn't sleep well in the WayB Pico. Again, it's forward, but it's also very high. This one, it's even when it's completely straight, it still has a little bit of a recline and some cushion there. So the kids have better naps inside this car seat. Installing the WayB Pico on an airplane seat is so simple because it's just a lap belt. You loop the lap belt right through these little red pieces here, and then you just tighten it. And it's so simple. And of course, if you don't want to worry about the installation, the WayB Pico can actually be folded up and it counts as a carry-on. So you can store it in the overhead bin. And if you're thinking, Tara, why in the world would I bring this onto the plane if I'm not going to use it in her seat? Well, the safety recommendations for car seats are actually to not check them, like gate check them or check them at all, because they don't get any like special treatment in their handling. And so, it can be thrown around just like luggage can, and it can cause internal damage to the seat that could make it ineffective in a car accident. And so there might even be damage that you don't see. And so it can compromise the safety of the car seat. So I always take my car seat on. However, with the Cosco Scenera Next, that one, if I'm taking it on the plane, I have to use it in the seat. Whereas this one, I could fold up, put one of those little beds for them or whatnot. So that is a big plus for the WayB Pico car seat. So if you travel frequently enough and you have the money to spend on the WayB Pico, I do recommend that car seat. However, if you don't travel that often, or just the price point's just way too much, the Cosco Scenera Next is still a really good option for you. If you decide to go the Pico route, I do have a little trick here that can help you save some money on it. If you purchase your car seat from Albi, I'll put the link below, you actually get 20% of the purchase price back in points. Now, those points have to be spent at Albi, but what you can do is you can purchase the seat, get your points, and then use the points to purchase the backpack or just purchase whatever else that you need. So that can save you some money. And I think if you use that link below, you get a little bit of extra points as well. Either way, I want you to keep traveling. So purchase the car seat and go on your trip, and you'll find your own tips and tricks that's going to work for you. And in fact, tell me those tips and tricks below. If you have either the car seat or you have another one that you really love for travel, tell me, tell others in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for joining me today, friends, and I hope to see you in the next one.